I got a DX180 after making a move to build an offline library with Hibi R3 Pro 2. And I bought it in 2026. It's an older player, relatively older player, let's say that at that. But I bought it in 2026 because I felt in the price point, this was one of the best values available, especially with the replaceable battery. Because one of the things I wanted to be sure of was, can I have a device that has some long term capabilities for me to sustain itself long term. Now it's Android 13, so again there are going to be Android based limitations, but I can play around with a lot of software on my own, so I can play around with that. But it's the battery and sending things for repair, that's something that I wanted to kind of stay away from, and I felt the ibasso DX180 makes a lot of sense. Now the reason I bought this, so I was looking at M21 and I ended up going like a little bit, let's say a tier over M21 to this, and not for like something like even the R4, etc., those kind of things. I think this makes a lot of sense, but also the reason is I've been listening and I've given like a offline library a fair chance of about 4 to 5 months, but still as of today, most of my discovery that happens through Apple Music and Spotify. I've gotten into jazz lately over the last like 3.5 4 months, and still a lot of that discovery happens through Apple Music, happens through YouTube, and then I find those artists here, and it makes a lot of sense once I start to kind of gel well with certain artists. I can go ahead to places like Bandcamp, etc., and get downloads, right, from those places. But I do like to experiment here, and that makes a lot of sense for me personally. And although I feel people want to get off of streaming platforms, and I do too, I think still some sort of conscious discovery can happen really well on these platforms. People hate on Spotify, so you don't have to use Spotify. You can use Apple Music. I feel Apple Music's recommendations are actually pretty spot on. Then they are good. Does it recommend you the music that you won't like? Yes, it does, in fact. So that's why I like Apple Music a little bit more than Spotify. So it, for me, it just makes a little bit more sense to get something like a DX180 in 2026 and beyond, because of the repairability factor, because of the factor that it's a solid device, because of the factor that I can get the stuff, and I can find, uh, or rather have the discoverability that I want, and then have a memory card to kind of play my offline library as well. So graduating from R3 Pro 2 to DX180 has been great. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now.